You're listening to the Next Team podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Next Team podcast. We're back for real, and we're actually sticking true to what we mentioned last week, and we're actually going to be posting another cricket episode ahead of the, or rather, not ahead. It's been a few games into the World Cup, and we thought it'll be a good time to, review some of the matches that took place. And as usual, I have Tarun and Yash joining us for the episode today. And of course, our last episode did pretty well. I mean, relatively well to our other episodes. I think we got like 80 or 90 views. So thank you once again for your support. We really appreciate it. And do let us know if there's something we can improve on, or something you'd like to see. Of course, we did also revive shots from the stands, and I am happy to see some active participation from quite a number of people and some new entrants as well. So we'll be looking into that a bit later into the episode. But as usual, do check us out on YouTube and Spotify. And also we're available on Instagram and TikTok, and you guys already know our handles. So just give us a like, share, or follow. Yeah, that'll be very helpful. And with that, let's now get into the episode itself. So how are we feeling, boys? Good, bad, or what's the general sentiment around the
I
World
mean,
Cup
because I
campaign?
think you should be the one kicking this off because you
Oh yeah.
went to watch the match live. So tell us
Yep,
about
of
your
course.
experience because.
Sure, sure. So, to the viewers who are not aware, so I was actually in Chennai for the India-Australia game last Sunday. So, of course, I was one of the lucky few to be able to witness it live, and it was a fantastic match. Um, okay, so let's get to Australia batting first. So, of course, Australia won the toss, chose to bat. Chennai is obviously a spin-friendly pitch, a pitch that I would say favors the bowlers. It was always on the slower side. Typically, it's not easy to get your timing right as a batsman. So I'm not sure what was the thought process behind batting first when they won the toss. But
Mm,
nevertheless, I thought they would at least post a decent total of 260, 270. That seemed like a good
mm,
total in that wicket. But of course, the spinners took charge. I think the Indian spinners were fantastic. Jadeja, Kuldeep, and of course, the
mm,
local boy Ashwin. It was good to see him back in the blue jersey. And of course,
mm,
and okay, just an observation, being there live, Virat Kohli is a phenomenon. He's a legend of the game. I mean, he was standing literally at mid off, the crowd near mid off, or rather, if he's standing at long off, the crowd near long off would absolutely go
mm,
berserk. If he was standing at fine leg, the crowd there will go berserk. If he was standing at half corner, the crowd there goes absolutely berserk. So I mean, the fan following, and this is not even talking about like Delhi or or
yeah,
Mumbai. This is
yeah.
talking about Chennai, which is a
Mm,
south state. And the fan following for Kohli there, I mean, it was fantastic to see, and he's
mm,
completely deserving of the adulation he's getting, especially after the knock he played, which we'll come to that
mm.
shortly. But of course, bowling was fantastic. What do you guys think of the bowling generally?
I mean, to me, I actually missed the first. Well, I watched the first 5 overs and I missed the next 15 overs because I
Okay,
was way too tired and I fell asleep.
all right,
I had a long night the night before, and plus, I think because we had a game in the morning as well,
yeah,
so I was
yeah,
like
I saw
absolutely
that.
exhausted. So yeah, I didn't watch the 15 overs, but I think yeah, when I watched it again, I think Steve Smith was batting. And I mean, Jadeja just, I don't know, man, bowled like probably the ball of the World Cup, man. Like
Oh yeah,
the
what a
ton he
ball that
got on
was.
that was just incredible. Like, I mean, to fool a guy like Steve Smith is not an easy feat.
Yep,
So, I mean, it just speaks volume on how good our spinners were. Kuldeep as well, he's always very economical, very tight, picked up wickets when needed. And then
yep,
Ashwin as well, he bowled pretty well as well. He didn't initially, I think, start off pretty well. Like, I think he didn't get
yeah.
the wickets he wanted initially. But then I think towards the back end of the innings, he put it all together. And, overall, I think it was really the three spinners who restricted the total to like not
What
199, I think Australia got.
199? For
Yeah.
sure, for sure. And I mean, I mean, just okay, from me watching it live, it's a bit different experience. But watching it from the telly, do you guys think it's more of Indian bowlers bowling well, or is it more of Australian batters throwing away their wickets?
I think it's a bit of both, but definitely I would say the spin conditions were more helpful, and I think the pitch generally was better for spinners, better for the
Yep.
ball. Yeah, so I mean, we saw how much purchase Ashwin, Kuldeep, and Jadeja were getting. I mean, for Jadeja, it's basically his home ground. He plays in so much
Yeah,
for Chennai here, so yeah, he
that's true.
knows exactly how to bowl, where to bowl, and
Yeah,
Ashwin also definitely played here many times. So I mean, that experience helped as well. So I think to say that the Aussies threw away their wicket might be a bit discrediting to them,
Mm.
but at the
okay.
same time, they could have done better, I think.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
thing which I
and
was very surprised about Australia was initially when they decided to bat first. I looked at their team and I realized there's only one frontline spinner in their team,
yeah,
and
we
that's
will come to that actually.
Sampa.
I think it's a fundamental selection flaw with the Aussies actually.
Mm.
They've I don't know if I mentioned this last episode, but I think they've missed the trick by only picking Zampa as their specialist spinner. They
Yeah,
don't have any
they
other
left
frontline
Ashta Ega
spinners.
out. I think they
Yeah,
included
they
Marnus
brought in
instead of
Labuschagne
Ashton.
for him. I mean,
Yeah,
Labuschagne is not really he's a part-time spinner at best. You know,
yeah, yeah.
he's not going to be
Is
a
Ega
quoted.
was injured, right?
Yeah, Ega was injured, so like, they bought Labuschagne because
Ah,
initially
right.
the debate was between dropping, not dropping, because Travis Head was injured, so they thought they could,
Mm.
remove Travis Head and replace it with Labuschagne. But ended up Ashton Ega was injured, so they just did a straight swap with Ashton Ega
Yeah.
for Labuschagne.
Hmm,
And the thing is,
So
they're banking on Travis here to come later on in the tournament,
yep,
which we
right.
do not know if
that'll
he's
be
going to
good.
come.
That'll be good. I mean, he bowls a few offies as well, so I mean that could be also be the thought process
Mm.
behind. I'm not sure what the thought process, but personally, I feel like yeah, okay, you have Maxwell as another spinner for Australia, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he took 4 wickets. Let me put it this way: he's definitely better than a part timer, but he's
Mm.
not a specialist per se. Like
Yeah.
there are so many other options that Australia could have looked at. Like could have looked at the young leggy Tanveer Sangha, or they could
Mm.
have gone back to the old head of Nathan Lyon. He actually
Mm.
phoned up Andrew McDonald, the coach of Australia, that he was available bowling. He's fit. He's able to bowl 10 overs. If
Mm.
they wanted to replace him for Asharega, but of course that wasn't the case. But generally speaking, yeah, I think it was evident that they missed the trick and potentially could hamper their World Cup campaign. But I thought coming back to the batting, they were actually in a decent position. Of course,
Mm.
it took a magical ball to take Steve Smith's wicket because I think when around the time Steve Smith was put out, right before that, I think there was a time where Australia were kind of consolidating. But generally speaking, I think runs were quite hard to come by, and
Mm.
perhaps they could have rotated the strike a bit more. I think that's what
Yeah.
maybe if you compare both innings between India and Australia, both KL and Virat were fantastic in when it came to strike rotation, and we'll come to that soon.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that's where they probably missed the trick. But of course, I think as Tarun mentioned, it's a combination of both. Where some balls like the Jadeja ball were
Mm.
fantastic deliveries versus some was just I think a poor shot selection. Like for example, Cam Green's wicket of Ashwin.
Yeah.
It was a straight catch to point. At this level, that was a soft
Mm.
dismissal. So I think
And
he
one
would
thing I
be.
also wanted to point is that we were very sharp in the field
Oh
on
yeah,
Oh,
Sunday.
absolutely.
yes.
We
We
were
were, we
very
were,
sharp. Like we're
yeah,
stopping
very
all
turned on.
the
Yeah,
ones which technically should have been ones. We were very good in catching. Like dude, the Kuldeep's catch on David Warner. Like
well, yeah,
that's a very hard catch to master.
it
Like
is. It is.
he hit it
Funny enough, I was
straight
in the
down.
toilet when that happened, but yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah,
But
missed
yeah.
it.
But I mean, yeah, it just speaks volume. Like we were like on the A game basically from the very first ball. I think in the
Yep.
very first or second over, Bumrah got Mitch Marsh, and I think that set the tone up because if a player like Mitch Marsh gets set, he can really very quickly take the
Yeah.
game away from you. Like that's how
Absolutely.
Travis Head used to. So in a way, it
Hmm.
helped us. But yeah, definitely, I think Australia could have done better with the bat. Like you said, they could have rotated strike better, and maybe just taken a bit less risky options and just look to find the gaps and go for one and twos because it's difficult on such a wicket to easily score boundaries. So
Correct. And also, I think, I mean,
that's
on that topic, I think the scoring rate was also pretty low. I think they were
they were going at
pretty.
three at some point.
They
I
were
think.
going at 3 or 4 over, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
okay. I understand you want to bide your time, but I think there was ample opportunities for more runs.
Mm,
I don't think that bowling was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it was a point in which the Aussies, could not rotate the strike. I still feel
yeah.
there was something in it for them to, definitely not get all out for 199. Maybe like
Mm.
Yeah.
I think the pitch
I
was about
think
250, 260. 250, 260 would have been a challenging chase, I think.
Yeah. I
At
mean, the
that
average there
point.
was, I think, some 230, 240 something. I think I saw it
Yeah.
somewhere. Mm.
So yeah, Tarun, you were saying?
yeah, no, I think the idea was to build the foundation with the Smith, especially Smith at the crease. But I think that Smith wicket just completely changed the momentum for the Aussie innings.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
that was pretty
I
much
think they
turning
did pretty
point.
well, right? They were
Mm.
like, I think some 90 or 100 runs for two, I think, something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah. They
right?
were, I
So
think
they just
Yeah,
110 for
collapsed for
they
like,
two. 110 for two, I think, if I'm not wrong. Then they
yeah,
lost
yeah.
game
And
they had
then
seven.
an
they just
excellent
Then
collapsed for
Labuschagne
like
straight
9
partnership.
after.
10
Like
runs.
they lost
Yeah.
Yeah.
both their send batsmen, in quick succession. Quick succession. And by the way, Labuschagne's review was so stupid, I must say. Like
Yeah.
there's such a big spike on ultra edge, and then he still goes on to review it. I don't understand
Yeah, I mean, as
why
a
or how.
batsman, you should know,
Yeah,
lah.
you should
Like, if you hit the
know.
ball, you definitely know
Yeah,
you hit the
and that
ball.
too is such a big spike. I mean, to me, I don't know what he was
Mm.
thinking, but yeah, that was quite a shocking moment. Yeah, surprising
Mm.
moment more than shocking. Yeah. So okay, with that out of the way, the Australian things out of the way, of course, coming back to the chase, and then okay, let me be honest. When I was thinking, okay, 199, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a tricky chase. Like, I don't think it's gonna be a straightforward chase. I know the Aussies will come back hard. The Aussies, they never give up, and that was evident from ball one. When they were really attacking our stumps. And of course, Ishan Kishan fell prey to an
First
aggressive
ball,
short
I
ball
don't know
series.
what he was thinking of. First ball, just trying to lash at it. Like, it's a
But I mean,
rookie
to be fair,
mistake,
like that has
really.
given him success in the past. But I think it was just a very, very good delivery from Stark. It was the driving length, but I think the Stark got the better of him, and then we were zero. I mean, what were we, 0 for 1 or 1 for 1, whatever it was, and then
Yeah.
of course,
I think
and then two. Yeah,
it's. I mean, you have to consider that that is the kind of opener that Ishan Kishan is. Like
Mm.
he's a proper T20 opener. He's
yeah,
gonna come in. He looks to score quick runs, and that's where
Yeah.
that's his forte. Like if you tell him to take his time and play his way in, I don't think that's his
Yeah, but
strength.
I just feel like sometimes like you should adapt to the conditions.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
understand
Yeah,
the conditions first, and
actually,
lashing first ball itself, it's something which
yeah,
I feel
on
you
on
don't
that
understand
point,
the condition.
yeah, good that you mentioned that. So let me come to that. So of course, we saw Rohit and Shreyas Iyer fell like a pack of cards right after that. We were 2 for 3. I mean,
I think Rohit got a really good ball, so I'm okay
yeah,
with that.
Rohit
Like
got a
he
really
got a
good ball,
very
and
good
then
ball coming in.
what I wanted to come to was actually Shreyas Iyer's dismissal.
Mm.
So I mean, we
Straight
know
to
he's
mid
a
off
very good player. He's a very
cover
talented
actually.
player,
Mm.
and Shreyas Iyer, I think, has this attitude where whatever the situation, I'm going to play my shots. And I
Mm.
think that was a result. I mean, that was also how the dismissal happened, where,
Yeah.
I think Shreyas Iyer backs himself in any situation to, go for, or maybe play his natural game.
Mm.
Not really going to play according to the situation, but just play according to his game. If the ball is there in his slot, he's going to slam it. And, that was ultimately his downfall. So what do you guys think about that? Is that the right way to go about it? Or, was
Mm.
it this utter carelessness from his point of view? Yeah.
Like personally for me, right, I feel as a batsman, whenever whatever situation you go into, firstly read the situation. Like what's happened. We've just lost two big wickets in the first 2 overs.
Yeah.
And at this point, you should think of okay, let's just stay here, read the conditions first. Like, see, I totally get that you want to back yourself to play your shots, which you should definitely.
Yeah.
But I feel at the same time, just take a step back for a moment and then take 2 steps forward instead of just trying to take that 1 step forward and then just falling down.
Yeah.
So I felt the same with Ishan Kishan as well. Like I know he's a terrific batsman, he's very explosive and he backs himself. But like the first time, like first over, Stark's gonna try and swing the ball. So you should try and understand how's the ball swinging. And he didn't give himself any time, just lashed at it the first ball. And
Yeah.
like even same for Shreyas. I mean, it was a good shot, but then of course the fielder was there. So I mean, happens, but then I feel like at certain times you just need that temperament, and I think that came when KL came in. You could see
Yeah.
that immediately when and
For
Kohli
sure, for
was
sure.
there.
I mean, just before we get to that, so what was the feeling, boys? 2 for 3. Tarun, what were you feeling when you saw the scorecard?
yeah. I saw 2 for 3. I was ready to back and go back to sleep. I was like, no, not go back to sleep. I was ready to go to
Bro,
sleep.
my
Yeah.
my dad was like, because he went out to like get dinner, and he
Yeah.
like during the innings break, so he was a bit late. And once he came, he really shouted at me. I told you to go, like because I left my seat. You get 2 for 3.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
It was it
superstitious.
was it was really something. 2 for 3, and I mean, in my head, I was like, okay,
Flashbacks of
flashbacks
2019.
to 2019 against New Zealand for sure. But I thought, okay, this is what I felt personally. I thought it was a good, like, okay, game on. Like, this is going to be an interesting game.
Mm,
Uh, and also think it's good that we face this setback early on in the tournament because I think when it like if let's say this would happen in a semi-final or final again, I don't know whether we'll react the same way, whether they're
mm.
able to handle the pressure. At least, you get such a collapse out of the way early on in the tournament. Such collapses may not happen later on in the tournament. So that's what I was thinking initially. But I I I personally thought, they're gonna have us for breakfast or dinner, whatever. Oh, yeah, it was
I
nighttime.
mean,
So
because
it was
yeah,
dinner.
how you felt as the ball was going up and Mitch Marsh and Alex Carey were running
Yes, yeah.
towards.
I mean,
Like, talk us through that and the whole stadium,
oh
how it
wow. I mean,
was.
once Kohli and Rahul came in, they were steadying the ship pretty well. They come in, Kohli, a few confident strokes here and there. I mean, I thought KL was a bit more assured than Kohli. Kohli was a bit iffy. That's what
Mm.
I felt personally.
He was trying to latch
Uh,
at a few of his offshot, like his cover drives, but he
Oh,
never
I mean,
got like anything.
he always has those shots. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying,
Hmm.
like, the balls, which were
Swinging
like
a
some
bit and
balls he was
stuff.
missing,
Yeah.
and some balls, that took the inside edge. I'm talking
Mm.
about those kind of balls. I felt in that sense, I think KL Rahul played with a lot more control overall. But of course, coming to the fateful catch, 20 for 3, Kohli skies one up. And I mean, personally, I thought this was, I mean, these are the Aussies, right? They're going to take every catch that comes their way. And then of course, the Bison, he drops the catch, and then it was. I mean, you could hear the collective gasp in CHEPAUK, and yeah, I think it was a lucky moment for us. I think because if a 20 for 4, I could see us getting bundled out for 70, 80 easily.
Mm.
Because I mean, after that, I mean, Hardik, yeah, is a good batsman, but I mean, aside from that, Jadeja and Ashwin are more all rounders, and as you know, we do not bat deep beyond that. We're not like
Mm.
other teams where our tail-enders can give us an extra 15, 20 runs. It's not going to work that way. So, I personally thought that it was curtains, but of course, Mitch
Mm.
Marsh, what a drop, man! Right when we needed it, he comes up, he comes up trumps,
Do you
and
feel like he dropped it or he was distracted by Alex Carey?
bit of both, yeah, bit of both. I mean, I've been in that situation, but I think as professional cricketers, I think they should be taking those, especially not even
Mm.
professional, international cricketers. Come on, I mean, you're
Mm.
playing for your
Mm.
country. Like, I think Aussies especially, they pride themselves on being, you know, top notch on the field. I think for
Mm.
them, that's one of their, lesser moments for sure. I mean, I think Mitch Marsh will be the first to tell you that, that was his bread and butter. Like,
Mm.
he takes that catch in his sleep. So for him to drop it, I think and I think it was just an overall bad day for him. He
Mm.
got out early as well, and then of course, and uh of course the CHEPAUK, whoever, I'm not sure who controls the video screen, but they kept showing replays of the drop, and it was really funny to see his reaction. He was just laughing. He was just like, "Oh, what's up, man? What's the idea there?" Yeah, so it was pretty comical to watch live.
Mm.
But of course, I mean, that gave the lifeline. But of course, now we have to come to how these two played, KL and Kohli. What a
Mm.
knock for both of them, guys. Come on, I mean,
Yeah.
what a knock.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
immense. Like when we talk about big knocks, we're always thinking about what are the big scores, the centuries, and everything.
yeah,
But the fact that they played themselves in so well, just kept it cool, never looked to overplay the shots at any
yep,
point. Just taking the ones and the twos, so much brilliance about the game. Like you don't need them to
Mm.
score a century to know that. Of course, Kel was painfully close to that 100.
yeah.
Unlucky to hit a six on the last ball. I
That's
didn't
one of
think
the
I'll be saying
funniest
that.
moments I've ever seen. You've just won a
Yeah.
World Cup for your country
Oh
and
man.
you're down on your
Oh,
knees.
by the way, guys. So speaking of which, I was actually taking a video recording of the last shot, and some idiot decides to walk in front of me, and I missed
Ah,
the whole shot. I was
uh,
so pissed, man. Oh my god.
shit. Mm.
Yeah, but I mean, that aside, I think in the age of T20 cricket, to see that kind of a quality knock from two of the one of the best batsmen in the world, I think that was fantastic. I mean, it was a lesson to youngsters as to how to read a situation and how to bat according to what your team, needs you to do. As I mean, as we talked about earlier about Ishan Kishan and Shreyas Iyer who back themselves in any situation.
Mm.
I think
yeah.
I am with Yash on that point where there needs to be a certain sense of pragmatism where
Mm,
you have to understand what team or what situation your team is in and what the team requires from you in that situation. Is it
yeah.
to knock it around the park, or is it take singles, rotate your strike? And I think that's
Mm,
what was required, and that's what both of them gave. And personally, I thought Rahul was a lot more assured. I think well, I feel that's his best knock ever, because I think
mm,
in the crucial situation, maybe I'm pretty sure he's going to probably play more defining innings going into the latter stages of the tournament. But
mm,
just from his personal point of view, where he's been out with injury, in and out of the team, and coming back with that immense 97 against the
yeah.
Aussies under the pump 2 for 3. That's something that really shows character. And I think he's been a guy with great temperament always.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
feel
it's
like,
just
mhm.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like batting in a middle order has helped him a lot
Yep.
compared to opening, because I feel like he's a lot more solid coming after like 2-3 down, where he knows what the game situation needs from him,
Mm.
compared to when you're an opener. There's depending on the match, of course, if you're in the first innings,
Correct.
there's pressure for you to take on the bowlers, especially in ODI cricket
For sure.
and stuff. So I think that's really helped him, and I think his numbers are really good, like coming in the middle order.
He's averaged 100 since he's come back from his injury, actually.
Yeah,
So
that's
just
crazy.
like
Yeah.
you put it
That's
out there.
mad.
And it's
Crazy.
been
Yeah.
quite a long layoff for him as well.
It has. I mean, I know
Yeah.
we make fun of him and stuff, with his groin injury and of sorts, but fair play to the guy,
He's
really. I think
he's been
if
Yeah.
anyone's deserved it, it's him.
he's been
Yeah.
top class. And I think I just want to it just came across my mind, like where
Uh-huh.
we've been talking about the mentality of these players and knowing when to play and how to play in certain
Yeah,
situations. And I think that's where you can identify players who are going to be class across all three formats versus players who are more suited to one format. So, like,
uh,
Ishan Kishan, we pin him down more of a T20 opener, right?
yep,
And there's a reason for that, because it's his mentality. But you look at someone like Kohli, you look at someone like KL, you cannot say that, oh, he's an ODI batsman, he's a
Mm.
test batsman. He's not. There's so much class across all three formats because they
for
know
sure, for
how
sure.
to play in what situation, and they
Yeah.
are capable of unleashing what they have to achieve in each situation.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
think
mean,
one thing
in
which I
yeah,
saw or read, I think I think afterwards, KL gave an interview where he said that he just had a shower, and when he had a shower, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a good 30 minutes to just chillax, and then
yep,
maybe come in bed a bit." But he had to immediately go out, like giving those 1983
yeah. It
vibes.
was it was basically a couple day
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah,
That
and then
goes
when he
through.
came on, also I think he said this very important thing. Like because Kohli was already there, Kohli basically told him that let's play like a test match.
Yep,
Take it slow, build our innings from there, then we'll see what happens. And I think
yep,
that just shows the great awareness what Kohli has.
for sure. I mean, the experience he has. I think he's.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked a bit about KL, but talking about Kohli, I mean, the ups and downs he's had in his career, especially the down in recent
Mm,
years, to come back like that. I mean, he has recently been in a great run of form, but it just
mm,
shows like the guy has gone through adversity. In terms of kind of people questioning why is he even in the team and stuff like that. Of course, the people like us who always back him, but I'm talking
yeah.
about that difficult patch he went through. And I think he learned a
Mm,
lot from that, and I think he has truly rediscovered his game. And once again,
yeah.
he's back to winning matches for India. I mean, it would have been nice to see both of them finish not out towards the
Mm,
end. But of course, he got out to, I guess, it's a good shot, but I think could have kept it down a bit more. And
yeah. I mean,
perhaps
it's
he
a
could
good
have gone
catch
to a
also.
century. Oh,
It came
Labuschagne,
straight
right?
at Labushing. Like it's a hard catch to master. Like it's a reflex catch, honestly.
Yep,
Yeah,
for
but I mean,
sure.
you can't fault the innings. I think he played
Oh, it
flawlessly, and
was
I
an
think
absolute class
it's
knock.
yeah, like even if it's 85 or whatever he scored, I think he paced the innings really well. He took the bowlers on when he needed to on the off, like once in a while, and just rotate a strike really brilliantly with KL. And I think that gave like I mean KL already looked very confident. I think since he came on more
Yep,
than like Virat, like you said. But then I think that also gave Virat more confidence to play some other shots, and I think he hit one beautiful six. I think.
yep,
Um, yeah,
And of
for
course,
sure.
converting the ones into twos.
Oh, that was
That's
fantastic running.
that's where Virat is outstanding.
Yeah, apparently. So I mean, I'm not sure if you guys watched the video with Rahul and Kohli after the match. They had like a sit down, like the Indian cricket team posted that, and then I think they were talking about conserving the energy. But when I watched them run live, Kohli was literally sprinting the first run, always, whereas KL Rahul was just strolling by. It was just funny. Kohli says one thing, but he means another thing. I think his level of
Yeah.
conserving energy is a bit different from the rest of us commoners.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
you
he's
need
just
if I
intense
think
all the
Harsha
time.
Bhogle said that if you are batting with Kohli, just be prepared to run, like just run,
Yeah, yeah,
because he's going to make you run those ones into twos
yeah. He
anytime.
was so quick, dude. You can see it live how quick he is.
Mm.
Across 22 yards. Fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's if you want to learn how to play the game, I think watch Kohli how he plays. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's the
I
best
mean,
way
his
to
game
learn.
awareness and everything is it's like he's very sharp on mind. He knows exactly what the
Yeah,
team needs in a certain
absolutely.
situation.
And that is backed with experience as well. So I think that
Yeah,
has
absolutely.
he has just blossomed into an amazing player. It's if as I watched another video, I think with Ashwin and Harsha Bogli, they
Mhm.
have this Kuti Story series, and
Yes.
Harsha Bogli made this comment, I think, which is very apt. If 2011 was Sachin's World Cup, 2023 is Kohli's World Cup. People
Police
have,
World
I
Cup.
mean,
Yeah.
the team has to do it for Kohli. I think
Yeah.
he is overdue an ICC trophy for sure.
And
And
I honestly feel like he's probably the best white ball cricketer for like India. Like he surpasses Sachin for me personally.
for
Like
sure, I mean,
Sachin's achieved
it's
great
a
things, but if you looked at Virat's number in the same like let's say duration,
yeah.
it's mind-boggling if you think about
It's
it.
mind-boggling. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we've had a few great cricketers. I mean, white ball cricketers, Sachin, then Dhoni redefining the role of a
yeah.
finisher, and you've had Kohli taken, who has sort of combined both the role of a finisher as well as a top order batsman. So I think we only get better from here. Shubman Gill is probably looking
Mm.
like the next likely talent to take the baton
But
from
did you
Kohli.
hear the news? He's
Yeah, he's
apparently
hospitalized in
hospitalized.
Chennai. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really unfortunate to hear.
So
I
I
mean,
think he
I hope
might
he
miss even the Pakistan game.
was potentially. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think he would get better by that. But I mean, of course, we hope that he does.
yeah.
Uh, but that's quite sad to hear because of course we all looking forward. I mean, Yash would put him as the potential top run getter in the
Yeah,
tournament.
I
So
mean, now it's a bit unlikely unless he comes in and scores a double century or two, then
yep,
maybe.
for sure, for sure.
Which is not out
Also
of the
very
realm
likely,
of
to be honest.
It's possible. I
possibility.
mean,
Like
possible.
I
Who
would
knows?
definitely back him to score a double century.
For sure.
Yeah. No, but it
Um,
does. It's a huge ask also because like
Yeah.
dengue is something which takes a long time to
Yeah.
recover. So
The
like you don't know how he'll come back,
even
even
if
if he does
he's
come back. So
I mean, even if he's fit enough to play, it's the long term effects are
yeah,
always going to be there, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. So I
yeah.
just hope
Okay.
like he recovers well, and if he doesn't, then I'm sure like someone else will step up as well.
Hmm.
There's talks of apparently like replacing like if he's going to be out for the World Cup, replacing him with either Rutraj Gaikwad or Jaiswal.
Oh, but I don't think it'll be Jaiswal, probably Ruturaj because,
Yeah.
of course, Jaiswal has not played he's not played a single game of ODI cricket yet. So I don't think they'll
Did he play in
pick
West
him.
Indies?
Yeah,
He
I
has
think a
not
bit.
played. I don't think he's played ODI cricket. If I'm not wrong. Did he?
Is it?
I thought
I mean,
he
he.
Yeah,
played
I
maybe
ODI.
remember
not.
he
I
played
think
in
he
the
played
I
test.
might be
T20
wrong.
and
Okay, I
Test
might be
only.
wrong. I thought he
Yeah.
didn't. Okay, I thought he didn't, but okay. Uh, Yeah, I don't recall him playing, but okay, I
Yeah.
can check that and I'll verify it later. But anyway, coming back to it, so I think we've talked extensively about India and Australia. We can just I think zoom through the other matches. Of course, the tournament started off with England, New Zealand. New Zealand absolutely thrashed England. I
Yeah.
think standout performances for me was Rachid Ravindra and Devon Conway. What
Mhm.
knocks from both of them? I think I mean
270
any other
odd
observations
runs.
from that match, guys? Yeah.
Uh, I guess Ahmedabad is a very good wicket to bat, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like it. Like 282. I mean, 282 seemed like a team seemed like a no, not a bad score. But
Yeah,
of course, once you saw New Zealand bat, they chased it down with 14 overs, with 13
that's crazy.
to
Yeah.
14 overs to spare. I mean, that tells you like the quality of batting they have, and also
Mm.
how batting friendly a pitch is going to be. And of course, I know Yash, you're looking forward to it with India Pakistan looming around the corner. It could
Yes.
be a high scoring thriller,
It
just
could
like
be.
we
Yeah, that's why. It could
yeah.
be a very big high
And it
scoring
could be
game.
something like what we witnessed today with Pakistan Sri Lanka as well,
Mm.
which is a very I mean since I mentioned let's just talk about it. I mean we just watched that match before recording this podcast. I mean what a knock from Rizwan
Rizwan
as well
and
as
Abdullah Shafiq.
Abdullah Shafiq. In both of them,
Yeah.
Abdullah Shafiq is a youngster. He's younger than all of us.
It's his ODI debut, by the way. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah,
not ODI
it is.
debut, ODI World Cup debut, sorry.
World Cup debut. Yeah, it's his World Cup debut.
Nice.
He scores a century. He replaces Fakar Zaman. Comes
Yeah.
in, plays an absolutely intense knock. Like fantastic. What a knock that was. And
Mm.
I think Rizwan, this is probably his best ODI knock I've ever seen. Like to chase
Rizwan
down. This
just
is
class, bro. Like, the thing about Pakistan is either one Babar or Rizwan always stands out. Like, you rarely see both of them fail. Very
yeah,
rarely
that's
you'll
true.
see that. Like, Babar hasn't scored in 2 games. So I think it's due that he's going to score in Ahmedabad, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
the Pakistan innings looked a bit shaky
Oh
at
yeah,
the start after they
it did.
lost Imam and then they lost Babar. And then when Rizwan came in, it looked a bit shaky. At least
It
that's
was. It
that's
was.
how I saw it.
I watched it when they were 100 and I think 100 something for two, and
Mm.
they were honestly behind the run rate. Like they didn't
Yeah,
come
they were
like
like for a lot of the match, the run rate was at I don't know 8 something.
yeah, they
Yeah,
did
when you see
something south
the
of 8, around 8.3,
Yeah,
yeah,
they were
8.4.
like they were
That
scoring
was
at
like the typical
5 or 6, I think.
the
Yeah,
run chase, and they had a good chunk of the match to go. They had like about I think around 24, 25 overs left, and when
Mhm.
they needed something
yeah,
like 8.5 and over, but been fantastic, really fantastic.
yeah.
And
I think
I think teams are learning on how to bat. You know, typically in
Yeah.
these batting wickets. What tends to happen? I realize it's a pattern, especially I'm not sure if it's a Hyderabad only thing, but it is easier for batsmen to score,
Mhm.
around up till the 30th or 40th over because the
Mhm.
ball is still hard, but after a while the ball gets soft. And then we saw in Sri Lanka's innings how they were sort
They
of pegged
collapsed
back from
quite
scoring.
badly in the last 20 overs, actually.
mm,
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
actually. Kusal Mendes played an absolutely immense knock, but
Mm.
they couldn't capitalize. Easy, I mean, on another day, had lower order scored a bit better, they could have probably ended up with 380, 390, and we could be talking about a completely different game here. But
Mm.
of course, that wasn't the
but
case.
ultimately, I don't think the problem for Sri Lanka was their batting because
It's the bowling, yeah, for sure.
it's
Yeah.
For
it's I mean if you can't
it's just
I don't
bad
know
at this point.
three
I
forty
mean, I
four
feel
is
the
an
thing
excellent score to
is,
defend. Like honestly, no matter what the pitch, I think it should be
mm.
an excellent score to defend. But uh,
No, I mean, I agree with that, but I also feel that the problem with Sri Lanka is they have a lot of their key bowlers who are injured, unfortunately, like Hasranga,
Yeah.
Shamira, all of them are injured. And what that makes is that you have a lot of youngsters now, like Valega, Patirana,
See, even
Tiksana, all of them have like a lot more
Walelega is
responsibility.
not bad. The thing is, he's
actually,
not
yeah,
a bad
Wallalega
No,
bowler.
he's
was one
not
of the
bad. I'm not saying he's
That's
bad.
not
I'm
no.
just saying that they're
The thing is,
young.
he's not bowling badly as well. The ones
Mm.
who are getting smashed is actually Patirana. Patirana is
yeah.
getting
Patirana
absolutely.
is
He's
it's
getting
hard to watch.
hammered.
Yeah,
He basically they brought him on. I think he had his figures were 8 overs, 1 for 71 when they brought him on the 48th over, I think, or 47th over, one of these overs. I think 48th over, sorry, yeah. 48th over. And then I think Pakistan needed something like uh 20 runs, and I think they finished it off in this over. Or like they needed 1 run in the next over. Like I
Mm.
think I don't know what's he's not able to find his feet in the
Yeah, I
ODI format.
mean that's what I'm trying to make the point. Like a
Yeah.
lot of these players who are coming into the Sri Lankan camp, they are really talented. Don't get me wrong. Patirana is really talented as well. We've seen
Yeah.
what he can do in IPL. But then, of course, when you come at such a big international stage where your team setup is different and stuff,
Yeah.
it takes a while for you to get into that feed. And also, the experience matters, ultimately in such tournaments. Like if you have an experience of, let's say, for example, Dhoni behind the wicket telling you what to do compared to you have, I think, who's the captain? Shanaka, right? I'm not saying
yeah,
Shanaka's not
Shanaka.
experienced, but there's a big gulf of difference, which also gives you as a bowler that confidence to execute what your captain wants you to do.
For sure.
So like,
And on that point, Dhoni actually made a comment that Patirana should stay as far away from ODI and Test match cricket as possible. He said that the best way
It's
for Sri Lanka to get the best out of Patirana is to just keep him for T20s.
mm,
But of course, I think Shanaka disagreed, and
mm,
this was
I
actually an
would
open
also
question.
assume there's a fitness element to it because fast bowler, when you're slinging it, it's I don't know. Like I'm sure there's a right way to do it. I don't know if Paterna is doing it the right way. Like
his action is just like
it's
Malinga.
Oh,
it's
it's just a replica of Malinga, but
yeah. I
Yeah.
see, I think
mean
that's not the
it's
point. But I think
it's something
it's
similar
more of
to Malinga, but it has been discussed during like IPL, the deep analysis and stuff, and they've gone into the micro actions of where he places his feet and how he releases the ball and his shape and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like this is I'm just vaguely remembering this from like IPL. So I might be wrong, but it could be also fitness related.
Potentially. I mean, you never know about
Yeah,
what's
like
actually
I mean,
going
there's
on
a lot of
the ground.
so
There could
much
be a lot of
deep
issues for sure.
analysis going into it. So
Yeah,
Okay, but
but I
one
mean,
thing I'll say about Sri Lanka is that, yeah, I mean, their bowling hasn't been the best. We saw it against South Africa, they conceded 428.
speaking of
We
which,
saw it today as well.
three centurions in South
Yeah,
Africa. That
that's
must
it.
be really good.
Aiden Markram with the highest century ever in World Cup history, 49 balls.
Yeah, fastest even. Yeah,
Fastest, yeah.
fastest, yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So like my point being is that that's somewhere they need to improve. But one thing I will say is that which is really good in terms of Sri Lanka's perspective is that they are scoring runs. Even against South Africa, they scored 328, I think. Today they scored
hmm
344, I think. It's like they're
yeah,
able to score runs, which I thought was in fact their weaker point, which is what we saw in the Asia Cup where they got bundled out for like 50. But I guess
yeah.
yeah, I guess it's just one off day, but like still, I as
Yeah,
any
I think before coming into the tournament, we probably thought they were a better bowling side than they are a
yeah.
batting side. But I think you are right in saying that bowling seems to be a big issue for them coming into the
Mm,
first two games. Definitely a lot of room for improvement.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
But I feel
it'll be
they'll win
interesting.
games. I probably feel that they'll probably
For sure,
win
I mean
against
they will probably
Afghanistan,
win games,
and
but whether they'll do enough to qualify for the semis, it's another question
that's a
altogether.
bit tougher. That's a bit tough, yeah.
Yeah. So yep, and I mean any other games you guys want to talk about, highlight just we can just go over it briefly.
Mm,
I wanted to bring up the South Africa Sri Lanka game, but I
mm,
guess
Yeah, I mean we kind of talked about it, just touched upon it. I mean it again shows Sri Lanka's bowling, and of course South Africa's batting is quite scary if especially if
it's actually
they
quite
start firing on all
terrifying top
cylinders.
order.
Dude,
Yeah.
that match also, like Kushal Mendes had an amazing knock. He had
Oh
eight
yeah.
sixes, 8 sixes in whatever 79 runs he did. Eight sixes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he played very very well against Pakistan as well. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's a batsman, really good form.
And
And
the one
whatever, I
more thing
mean,
to notice that the South Africa game, right? Sri
yeah,
Lanka was actually ahead of South Africa throughout the game. They just lost wickets. So like
yeah, of course. I mean, but
yeah,
that's the thing,
I mean it's
that's the
given,
game
I
of
guess,
it.
with such a big total, that's kind of given.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you go about it. But yeah, I think I mean, it was a valiant effort from them in terms of chasing that down. But of course, I mean, I think when you're chasing a big score, you always need wickets in hand. I think that's key, and we
Yeah.
saw that with Pakistan as well today.
Mm,
I think when you have wickets in hand, you can always make up the runs. It's a lot easier to make up the runs than
mm,
the other way around, where you go hard from ball one. But of course, stranger things have happened. You could never know. Maybe that approach could work one day.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I think that's something that I think Sri Lanka need to work on their bowling and find the solution as to what's
yeah.
happening and why they're getting tonked by opposition all over the world. But I think aside from that, I think England they came back with a win against Bangladesh. I think that was quite
Yeah.
comfortable. Nothing too extravagant there.
Yeah.
Afghanistan, Bangladesh. I thought that was a game I thought I expected a lot more from Afghanistan personally because at one stage they were
They were actually
pretty
very good.
okay.
They were
They
like
were like
120 for two or something like that. They just
correct. Yeah.
collapsed.
Let me see the fall of wickets. Fall of wickets.
Like
They were
after
actually
Gurbaaz
112
fell,
for two.
everyone just fell after him.
They were
I was
112
watching
for
that
two.
game.
Yeah, I watched a bit of a game as well, and they just felt like a pack of cards, 156 all out. It was
Yeah.
quite disappointing too, because I honestly expected them to, at least come close against Bangladesh and even get a result.
Mm,
So, I mean, them getting all out for such a low score and then 158 for four, I think it's a relatively easy chase for Bangladesh. They'll
mm,
be quite disappointed because I know they're a much better team than what, maybe the scorecard might suggest. And perhaps, that could also give us some indication as to how they might play against India. Perhaps. I don't know, guys.
mm.
What do you guys think?
Hopefully,
I mean, if you look
I
at
feel like they're
the
going to turn up against India. Personally, I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I think they might give us a scare, potentially even a win for
yeah, but one
Afghanistan.
thing I'd say is that they're playing in Delhi, and the last match which happened in Delhi, in the entire match, both teams scored a total of 720 odd runs. So
How
it
many runs
doesn't bode
again?
well for spin. The last match which happened in Delhi was South Africa and Sri Lanka.
Oh, okay,
So
fantastic.
yeah, so it seems like a flattest of wicket for like the spinners, unfortunately.
Oh, lol.
So that might be a bit pain point
I,
for
I can see
Afghanistan.
them dropping Ashwin again. I think he's always been a
Yeah,
scapegoat. So
I
I
think
can see them first one to go out is Ashwin for sure, and then they'll bring in probably like Shardul Thakur or some other guy
Yeah,
just to add some variety into the
maybe
attack.
Shami.
that's
I
some
think Shami might
batting.
play. I have
But
a
the thing
feeling
is, if
Shami
you,
might play.
they might play Shami, but the problem with Shami is, of course, you'll have your batting stops at number 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm.
You need the
that's a risky.
all-rounder in Shuttle Taku.
Yeah, exactly. At least
Mm.
Shaltago offers a bit more with the bat. I mean, I know nowadays he probably doesn't perform with the bat as much, but he's still next best all rounder. Like, I remember we had a half an hour long discussion on any fast bowling all rounders in
Yeah,
India, and
yeah.
we hardly could
Ultimately,
come
we
up with
couldn't
anyone apart
find
from
anyone.
maybe
Yeah.
Vijay Shankar, who is still available for selection. You never know, boys. So yep, and I think that's pretty much covered most all our bases. Okay, now I think this is a good time to go into our Instagram segment, which is the shots from the stand. So of course, if you guys are not familiar with this is basically a thing we do. We used to do it quite often, but I mean, we've just decided to revive it back in the podcast, and I think it's a good addition to it because you guys can actually participate and get your voices and opinions heard on the podcast itself. So last week we had asked you guys a question as to who do you think will be the surprise package of the World Cup and why. So we had a couple of responses from you guys. Thank you once again for your active participation. So we had GHVPRR, which I mean is obviously a friend of the show. It's actually Vinay. He actually talked about Klaasen or Sky, who is going to be the better finisher. Wait, I don't know if it's a question or a statement, but okay, I'm just going to assume that he's talking about both Klaasen and Sky. But
Mm.
I think it depends on who will last longer, basically. But I think that's a good shout. I think
It's a
Vinay.
tough for Sky to get into a team at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably where Klaasen might probably edge it
Klaasen
because
would come in, yeah.
yeah, because once Shubman is fit, I presume that he'll just replace Kishan straight away, and then Sky,
Yeah.
unless there's an injury to one of our batters, I don't think they're
I don't
going to
think he'll
drop
get in.
either.
It's quite tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, thank you for
I
that
mean,
shout.
that's exactly why he could be a good surprise package in the end.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
he
fair
comes in
enough.
for
Potentially,
one match, he
Fair
yeah,
scores,
yeah.
enough.
I don't know,
For
double
the
ton or
sake of
something, and
devil's
then he
advocate,
just
Tarun
keeps
has
his
a good
spot.
point. Yeah,
You never
for
know.
sure. I think that's a good
They
point.
might play him just tomorrow. Flatters a wicket. Might as well just ask him to swing a ball a bit for like 30 odd balls or something.
Yeah,
Swing the
let's send
bat,
him out
I
number
mean.
3, like the IPL. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah. And of course, we also had uh, Venus C. Marilyn 98. I'm not sure who that is. It's a friend of the show, I presume, because yeah, I
They're
think
all
oh,
friends
it's
of the
such.
show.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
show only
everyone
has
is a friend of
friends.
the show at
Yeah.
this point. Yeah, I think it's Sachiv Varma, uh, and he responded Ishan Kishan. Once again, what do you guys think? Ishan Kishan surprise package of the World Cup. I mean, of course, the first match wasn't really great for him, but
Yeah.
do
I
we
mean,
see him
it's
give? First of all, do we even see him back in the team tomorrow against Afghanistan?
honestly,
Do we?
I can see him keeping his place at
Okay.
least until Shubman is back, I would say.
Uh-huh.
In my opinion, his better position, at least in ODI, is at number 5.
Yeah.
But it's a difficult argument to say that he gets in ahead of Shreyas. So I think that's
I
the thing.
see.
Like KL is bang on to start at either 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So the question is whether you play Kishan at 5 or Shreyas at 4.
I mean, funny you mentioned that, Tarun, when actually I see one of the replies. So Tarun also
Yes.
replied to our fan poll, shots to stands. He mentioned Ishan Kishan is going to blow some minds in this World Cup, top quality player, but of course he hadn't seen the Australia game yet. So
Okay. So I still stand by it. Like I still think
yeah,
Kishan is more than likely to blow some minds.
okay,
But my prediction was more of him at number 5.
Mm.
More of
ahead of
finishing
Shreyas Iyer,
role.
I'm presuming.
Sorry, yeah, ahead of
Ahead of
Shreyas
Shreyas
KL
Iyer,
at
yeah,
4 and this guy at 5.
okay,
Or I don't know. I don't see us dropping Hardik, so I don't think. I think that's out of the question. Like move
uh-huh,
Ishan down to 6 or something. Yeah, but yeah. So I see him. I can see him flourishing more in a finisher role in ODIs.
Okay.
Mm,
I think he's one of the players who can benefit from that middle order, like KL.
mm.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
it's a fair shout.
mm,
Sorry, Yash. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was just saying, I think for me, like, I agree with like Tarun on most of the points. Like, I feel like Ishan's not really suited to be an opener in terms of wide, like ODI at least. Like T20, yeah, I guess
Mm.
definitely. He's very explosive for MI as well whenever he opens. But like, I feel like for ODI, I think he's better suited in the middle order, so probably 4 or 5. And personally, if you ask me, I would also take Kishan over Iyer just purely because of his left-handed, I guess. Gives us a bit more
Mm.
variety in terms of our
Yeah,
batting
that's
lineup, and
important. We don't
Yeah.
have
yeah,
that much. We have him and we have
Jadeja, which
Jadeja.
is all the way 6, 7 down. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a lot. So that's one reason for me. But then if like how do I put it? If Gill is out of the World Cup, I probably think then is going to start all the games then. I don't see him I don't see KL going up the order because
Yeah.
I
I
feel
Mm.
you should
think
not move KL
KL
anywhere.
should not move up.
He's in the form of
KL, I
his
think he's found
life.
his spot in the team. I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah, exactly. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Kohli open and they sneak someone in there. I would
only
not be
open.
surprised. I don't
They
think
can
that's the
sneak
best
in.
thing to do, but I
If they
wouldn't be
do that, they can
surprised.
sneak in
I
Shreyas, KL,
disagree with
and
that. I don't think
Ishan in the
I
same
don't
team.
think Kohli will ever open. I don't think. I mean, he'll be happy to do it, but I don't think Rohit will send him opening personally as well. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
I
I
mean, that's
just
what I
feel like
feel.
they will.
I don't agree with it either, but like I don't know. I just feel like the whole Indian setup values Sky a lot, which I do, but then I just feel like he doesn't get into the team just because of all the players we have. Yeah.
Hmm. Let's see. We never know. Of course, I myself as well replied to this question shamelessly, and I mentioned Manas Labuschagne is going to be the top scorer of the World Cup. So, okay, penny for your thoughts, boys.
How's that prediction going so far?
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic!
decent. He scored 20 odd runs, huh? Quite
Yeah, I
decent
mean,
actually.
it's a start. It's a start. I'm
Yeah,
ahead
it's
of
a start.
Kishan for sure.
Everyone starts at 0. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone starts at zero. I mean, yeah, I
Mm,
mean, personally, I think I mentioned this last episode as well. I think Manas is peaking at the right time. I mean, yeah, of course, we didn't get to see the best of him in against India, but it's a long World Cup. You never know. Him coming in number 4, I think, is key because I think the middle overs was where they lost it against India, and if he's able to build a partnership with Steve Smith, especially to the middle overs, you're gonna see some big scores from him. I think that's
mm.
just my prediction, of course. Of course, it's a prediction. I'm allowed to say anything I want. So,
Yeah, of
I mean,
course.
I don't think it's an outlandish prediction. Come on, guys. I think
No,
he is capable of
it could
scoring
happen. Yeah,
runs.
he is
Yeah,
capable of it, I think.
Yeah,
definitely.
but
Also
of course,
talking
I
about
mean,
Australia, the
there are other
next
better
game is
players.
also a big game for Australia. They're playing South Africa
Oh
in
yeah,
Lucknow.
Yeah,
massive
Australia
game.
have a string of big games until
It's a tough
start of
games actually
November
for
also.
Australia. It's like no easy games.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I don't know. Personally, I just feel like the lack of spin power, unless they are able to make a change, but I don't think it's going to be possible unless they purposefully injure one of their players. Like fake an injury or some BS. Like, because I think from
Isn't
what I
Tanvir
understand,
Sangha in the 15?
nope.
Oh, okay. Thought he was in the
So I mean,
15.
how it works is if from my understanding is, if they want to replace anyone from their squad, it has to be pre-approved by ICC, and
Yeah.
of course that means it has to be a
Injury or
legitimate
something. Yeah.
injury. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know that
So
ICC will conduct their own checks as well.
exactly. So for sure that I think it's going to be a very difficult tournament for them. I'll be personally very very surprised if they. Oh yeah, of course I wouldn't say. I mean, they're still the Aussies. Will probably make it to the semis, but
Mm.
I don't know. Personally, I feel like they're going to fall short in terms of bowling, especially in spin friendly conditions. But of course,
Mm.
not all games are played in Chennai as well. That it
Yeah.
has to be said. So
Yeah, I mean, you look at the tournament so far, we've had 10 different centuries.
yeah,
Mm.
for sure.
Yeah,
A
10
lot of high
Indus.
scoring
That's
games also,
mad.
actually, think about it.
Yeah,
Very high
and
scoring games for the most
Yeah.
very high
part.
scoring games for sure.
Did you guys expect this? Like, do you guys expect so many games to go like 300 or even 400?
I mean, I guess with the bowling on display for some of the teams like Sri Lanka, it is possible. But
Yeah.
certainly not before the tournament. I didn't. If any team was going to get 400, I would and you'd ask me to predict which team that would be, definitely not South Africa. I wouldn't predict South Africa. I don't. I mean, they're a good team, but
I mean, they
I didn't
scored
think
400 like just a month ago as well
they
against
did. But I mean,
Australia.
I
Mm.
personally feel they are chokers, and I didn't expect them to perform in the World Cup. Because as always, the
Mm.
stakes are much higher when it comes to a World Cup. I would
Yeah.
have probably seen India doing it because it's the home condition. Of course, as a batting unit, we're really stacked. But yeah, I mean, fair play to them, really.
Mm.
And on that point, of course, Australia could capitalize with their batting when they've
Yeah.
invested in such a batting heavy squad for the World Cup. So yeah,
Mm.
boys, I think that's about it. Okay, yeah. Anyway, so thank you so much once again for participating in our Shots from the Stand segment. Keep a lookout for next week's segment. I think we'll be posting another question as well. So we look forward to your active participation and stand a chance to get featured in our show once again. And I think with that, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for your support. Do let us know if there's things you'd like to see, things you'd like on us. I mean, you'd like for us to improve on. We'd be happy to hear your comments and feedback. With that, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Next Team podcast. Bye, guys.
Ciao, guys.
Bye.